Hey guys, I'm the one you lost, and this video of Ina is something I'm very proud of. I started going with like this brand new color scheme, and I loved it so much I made like a 3-part series out of it. Whenever I started it, it was very, I didn't know if I was going to be able to achieve it or not, if I was going to be able to get the colors right. Because in the past with my Ina artworks, they just didn't seem all that colorful. And if you've seen my work, you know I love it. And it's kind of a whole big deal with me is making things as vivid and as pretty as I possibly can. The more colors I can add on the spectrum, the better. So this particular artwork was something that I don't even know if I originally had planned to draw Ina in this particular artwork. I was just kind of doing a pose, and then as I was going, I was like, no, we are doing the priestess with the takodachis. And I'm very proud of how it turned out. I've got 2 more videos in this series of particular colors that I'm using that I'll be sharing with you guys and walking you through it. I started off with kind of just going in blind and making up the colors as I went because I didn't quite know what I was going to do. Because if you look at my color palette down there, I typically don't always use that one. I typically only used a skin tone, but I started out trying to do the skin tone in my color swatches, but I thought they weren't saturated enough or they weren't bright enough, so I had to do a little bit of adjustment with hue and saturation. But right now, we are just kind of planning out the artwork, getting the pose correct, getting the guidelines on the face so I can place the eyes correctly. Eyes should always be an eye length apart. The end of the eye starts where the eye socket stops and the flat part of the head begins. So this right here, if you're looking at the video of me, this is the flat part of the head. Always here. Always where the eye socket starts and the eye begins. So eyes, eye length apart, flat part of the head. That's all I have to say. So that's how you place your eyes. Eyes in the middle of the face, beginning, eye length apart, flat part of the head. Did I say that enough? Okay, that's all I'm gonna say. So now we're drawing the hair, and to get hair to look like it's doing what it's supposed to whenever you are drawing anime is you want to follow the curvature of the head. So the more correct your head size is, the better placed the hair is. So you just want to follow the roundness of the head. You'll see that I made kind of like her like squid like tentacles thing. I think of what's that Nintendo game? Splatoon. I think of that whenever I think of her little like squishy bits. So that's typically kind of what I'm going for. I have it kind of draping on her shoulder here because I think that looks very cute. And I do that a lot. It just makes it look so full is the best way I can put it. So we're starting to get the full idea here, and we've got basically planned almost all of it out. You'll notice that lately, as I keep making these, you'll notice I draw the collarbone with lines less and less because I want to now start implying it through shading and not actually drawing the line. And that doesn't have to be the way you do it. It's personally how I've been doing it recently because the collarbone isn't really a hard object. It's more of a shaded object. Lines technically show big creases and the outline, so you actually want to imply more through shading than you want to do with line art. So the less wrinkles you draw and the more you imply through shading, typically the better your artwork will look. And this was a very hard thing I had to learn because I am like obsessed with doing line art. Lately, I've been doing mostly sketches that I fully render out, and the reason why is they're quick, they're a little bit easier, they allow me to practice and get it right the first time. They also help because Twitter is going through an algorithm nightmare right now. They are flagging everything as suggestive, even if it's not. So I have used this opportunity of doing like rendered sketches to test the new algorithm, figure out what it likes, what it dislikes, what it promotes, what it doesn't promote, and then taking notes on the artworks that succeed and the ones that don't, and I try to find out why. And the way I find out why is I repeat what I've done on the ones that work, and I repeat the things I've done on what doesn't work, and I've narrowed down what works and what doesn't work because algorithms in general are a nightmare. And to figure them out, you have to be quick and you have to be surgical and you have to figure out why. So you have to just kind of throw everything at the wall and figure out the common denominators. What makes somebody survive on social media is actually your ability to adapt. Being adaptable with your work is very, very challenging because it involves basically putting yourself in a dangerous position in standing with the algorithm, because it can suppress you and you could accidentally cut yourself off entirely. It's almost a very delicate dance of how far can you push the limits, where is the line, when you find the line or go over the line, how you respond to it. Social media is a lot of trial and error, and I've been doing it for like maybe 13, 14 years now, and I've just now figured out what it takes to do it. And let me tell you, every time you have to readjust and learn the algorithm again, it's a miserable experience every single time. It's so stressful. It gives you so much anxiety. And it's just, sadly, I have to say this, if you're an artist and that's really, really hard for you, make sure you are choosing art for the right reasons, because unfortunately that will never go away. You will always be put in a position where you have to adapt, because something that works 2 years ago will not work sometimes even a month later. It's very, very, very high stress and high adaptability. You have to be able to make sure that whatever you're doing, if it stops working, you have to figure out what works. And it is not easy. And I'm not saying that to make it sound scary, but it's something that if you want to succeed, whether it be YouTube, which I struggle with because YouTube, I feel I don't have enough data to figure out what works in my channel versus what doesn't, but I do on places like Twitter and Blue Sky. So if you have the information, you know what works, you need to stick to it up to the point where it stops working. If it stops working, change it. I know I've rambled about that for a bit, but I feel a lot of people don't know how hard it is to get seen in the algorithm, but they don't know that it is a constantly changing thing that you have to try as hard as humanly possible to adapt, because it's not easy, because the algorithm, whenever it changes, sometimes what you're known for, your own personal brand, is the antithesis of what is working in the algorithm. So you just need to try your best. Having a good quality product is important. Like if you're making good art, that's well and good and all, but just because it's good doesn't mean people are going to respond to it. Typically, you need to know your audience and you need to know what works. Just because my stuff is high quality or low quality, whatever you feel it is, does not mean it's going to succeed. Because just because your stuff isn't like amazingly like art pinnacle of like the best it could possibly be, people like Odd Ones Out are a perfect example of that. Even though his art isn't like next level, he still is incredibly entertaining, and that's what matters. Well, that's all I really had to say in this video. I know I kind of rambled on for a bit about the algorithm, but in a weird way, I hope that helps you. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.